Cashless Society here again, checking back with the second video for the day. First one, I was just getting into a dispute with the Quant community. It's kind of funny because, you know, crypto is very tribalistic, I guess you would say, which I'm actually going to make a video on as well, breaking down all the different tribes and stuff. But Quant is supposedly going to connect all the blockchains and hopefully erase some of the tribalism, while simultaneously I've gotten a lot of lashback from the Quant community telling me how much better Quant is than Ripple. So while I might have made some videos showing Quant in a bad light, I finally have got what I wanted, which is some people on Twitter to send me some information on Quant that isn't a link to the words on Quant's website. That's what I've been saying all along. I want some actual information that shows me anything of value about the project because like I said, I want to be sold on it. First and foremost, I I just don't see anything that's an ERC20 token being something that I'm super hype on, because there will be issues if they can't switch to Ethereum 2.0. Cardano and other projects are up, including Ripple's Flare project, are going to help Ethereum tokens swap over. To my understanding, Flare will enable Ethereum ERC20s swap onto the Flare network. We'll see how that all plays out, but the same can be said with Cardano and others. So Ethereum has a lot of pressure on them right now, getting to that 2.0. All right, enough said about Quant. I just wanted to address that really quick. I don't hate the project. I try to look at the website, and the website doesn't have anything of value. They raised $11 million in the ICO, to my understanding. At least hire somebody that can build a good website with links that take you to important information concerning your company. All right, that about covers it. So there's been so many people in the XRP community now are getting tribalist as well over this Charlie Ward guy. Everyone's fighting. They've either chosen the side that he's right or he's wrong. You got guys on the left side that are like, yeah, absolutely, totally believe XRP is backed by gold. Then you got your guys on the right side, that are saying he's way out in left field and he's crazy. And of course, XRP won't be backed by gold. It can't be this and that. Of course, it could be. It could be. So saying it can't is wrong, for one. But okay, I'm just going to briefly summarize what all they talk about in this video. You should go check it out. Sir Gordon Gecko with Brown Crypto Kid talking with Charlie Ward, kind of sharing with him their XRP knowledge, because Charlie Ward claims that he has none. He doesn't understand crypto and all this. But he basically goes on to talk about his connections and where this idea comes from. What are people actually telling him? So kind of start to finish, a couple of the main points they talk about. They talk about how XRP can and will be backed by gold, how high the price can go. Charlie Ward claims that there are sources, his sources are directly tied to Judy Shelton, he says in this video, which I'm going to show you later on what we've heard Judy Shelton saying. Sure, you've seen the video, but I don't care. I'm going to tie it in together anyway. They also said that right now, the elites around the world are trying to get to this new quantum financial system that they've developed, whatever it is. They're saying right now it's currently running parallel with Swift, and that the deep state or the Democrats or whatever it is are slowing it down from actually happening by doing some hacking, I guess, or something like that. They also make mention of Starlink. They're saying that the Starlink project, essentially, which is a project owned by space or created by SpaceX, which is owned by Elon Musk, is going to be basically the new internet infrastructure for the world, and that they need this to happen in order to move on to some kind of digital currency that is connected all around the globe. Which quite honestly makes perfect sense. If you were as smart as these people who created digital currency, then you're obviously smart enough to understand that this stuff can't move around the world and connect to everyone without an internet infrastructure that supports it, right? And that's the same argument you'll get from people that are no coiners, essentially. People outside of crypto, the first question is always, what if the internet goes down, right? And I guess that's a good question. I honestly don't think it's that great of a question because right now, most of the banking system is already dependent on internet. So that's another topic. But anyway, yeah, so they talk about Starlink. Starlink's building out this new internet infrastructure that's supposed to connect everyone all around the world. Um, in order, they also go on to talk about, the virus and vaccines and everything. And Charlie Ward claims that all of this stuff that's happening right now around the world is all a distraction to help you look away from what actually matters right now, which is that they are rebuilding the financial system as we know it. They're destroying the Federal Reserve. The U.S. Treasury will basically be the new Federal Reserve. And that a digital money monetary system, however they lay it out, is going to be built out all around the world. They claim that it's XRP, and so on. But anyway, everyone in crypto, our XRP community, for instance, has been fighting about this. Like XRP can't be backed by gold, or it can be backed by gold, this and that. I just wanted to get down to the bottom of all the connections and also clarify why people might think that it's going to be backed by gold. So, first off, let's look at the Starlink references. So, if you go to the Starlink page, it says Starlink is targeting a service in northern US and Canada in 2020 and rapidly expanding to near global coverage of the populated world by 2021. So, they're trying to get this done by basically next year. Rolling down. So one thing that stuck out to me, keeping space clean, all that really made me think about is, so they're basically explaining to what happens to these satellites after they're of no use, but they want to keep space clean. There's also a theme going around that we're going to go green, right? Well, how can we go green and be more efficient with Bitcoin? You can't. So I'm always going to point that out because it's a fact. I'm sorry, it's not anything other than it's a fact that right now Bitcoin mining takes up about 1% of the energy consumption around the globe. So it's as large as some countries. But anyway, so a couple things, right? They're trying to finish this up by basically the end of next year and have it all around the world. Ripple has made it very obvious that they said they're trying to bank the unbanked. They're targeting billions of people. Well, how can we build out this new internet infrastructure or this new monetary system that connects to everyone around the world if we haven't first rebuilt the internet infrastructure, which is what's spread out all around the globe with the Starlink? And then also, so how many people does that include? So it says some 1.7 billion adults worldwide still don't have access to a bank account, according to data released by the World Bank. The situation is slowly improving. However, with 1.2 billion people getting access to proper banking since 2011, including over 500 million people in the last 3 years alone. All right, so we know 1.7 billion people roughly don't have a bank account. It says right here, this article is about over 2 years old. Anyway, I'm sure it's close to that now. And also, there is roughly 3.8 billion people around the world that are not connected to the internet. So the way I see it is all the powers that be and the people that have the money and the people that have the banks and all that good stuff, to me, if we were sitting down in a meeting about how can we expand our market reach, the first thing that needs to be addressed is, well, there's 3.8 billion people in the world I can't sell to. So that's over half the world population that I don't have access to. How can we fix that? So the huge opportunity here is tapping into untapped markets. That's like coming to a CEO or CFO of a company and saying, hey, look, man, You probably never thought of this, but there's over 50% of a market I can get you access to that you don't have access to yet. Would you be interested? Of course they're interested. So everyone in the world is interested in getting into this $3.8 billion market. Um, so this is why I also believe that right now it might seem like the stock market's going to crash and all. S&P 500 as a factor of GDP and everything like that. I think it can only go up as the money can continue to tap into a 3.8 billion, or sorry, yeah, $3.8 billion billion population number. Sorry, you get what I'm talking about. But yeah, so basically over half the world doesn't have access to the internet. So let's go ahead and build a new internet infrastructure. Oh, you told me 1.7 billion of them don't have bank accounts either. That's okay, because we'll go ahead and set them up with a digital currency that can access. First, we're going to build the new internet infrastructure. Then we're going to build the digital money that's going to run on that internet. And then we're going to have access to this 3.8 billion people that we can't sell to right now. And then all of a sudden, bam, it works, right? So that's just my take right there on this video. Honestly, summarizing it all. You might think it's way out in left field. I don't. I don't at all, actually. So I think it all makes perfect sense. And I'm going to show you a couple clips, which you've probably already seen, but let's take a look.
Economic growth. And when money is just a variable that financial markets toss around, or it's part of a derivatives formula, or it's part of someone speculating on currencies, it's not serving the private sector in the sense of providing that reliable unit of account so you can make plans. And under a gold standard, you did have that stability, and I think that's what's missing. And so I like the idea of a gold standard. I mean, it could be used in a very cryptocurrency way. The point is, do you have a unified money system so that when you talk about the international marketplace, everyone is playing on a level monetary playing field? And it's very important to have a rules-based approach, and that's why I'm advocating that we need to look at the virtues of a gold standard and try to.
All right. So after watching that video, if you don't already know, Judy Shelton is in the process of getting nominated to be on the Federal Reserve Board, and she's telling us that you need to examine the words, actually listen to what is she thinking and what is she saying. So she says we need a reliable unit of account. She didn't say we needed to be on the gold standard. She said the gold standard could be used in a cryptocurrency type of way. So what does that tell me? It tells me that the unit of account doesn't necessarily need to be gold. There just needs to be a unit of account at the center that everybody is playing off of on that level playing field. That there needs to be a unified money system, a rules-based approach. She said all of that. So one could easily advocate, as I always have since 2014, as that the underlying asset can be crypto. The Bitcoin, if you're a Bitcoiner or whatever. I personally think it's XRP. We already know that you can launch a central bank digital currency on top of the XRP ledger. It can be done. So for me, in my opinion, XRP can be that central unit of account that all of these other basically fiat or United States notes, stuff like that, are based on. So the underlying asset doesn't have to be gold. So people that are arguing, oh, it's going to be gold, this and that, I'm just saying you have to kind of take yourself out of that perspective and say, well, how would it look if we did it in a cryptocurrency type of way? Because the problem with gold, and it's still the same problem, is you can't actually know how much gold anybody has. There's not a way of keeping track of it unless you're literally stamping every piece of gold or implanting a chip into every piece of gold that measures the weight of it, that the information is recorded on the blockchain. And I mean, you could do it if you did all that, but my point is just that Bitcoin and XRP both solve the issue that we had with gold, and that was the lack of trust. So we came off the gold standard because really the global economy is pretty stable. Everything was working well during that time. But then the idea came that, oh, well, I'm not sure that they actually have as much gold as they're claiming to have. And then everyone just basically bailed on the idea because they couldn't trust each other. Now, that can't happen with Bitcoin or XRP, either one, because you have track of how much people have what and where at all times, because you can see it with their address on the public ledger. So there's that. That's kind of my take. What could happen is that XRP would be backed by gold percentage-wise. Maybe I think they've said upwards of 40% or something would be the required backing. I don't know. Who knows? It could be layered to that extent because gold is a trusted commodity. I'm just saying that center unit of account, gold standard type of way can be done without gold. It can just be there is that Bitcoin or XRP at the center. That is the backing asset. All right. But secondly, everyone wanted to hate and say, oh, well, that gold standard idea is just out in left field. This guy's just making crap up. That's also wrong because of this video right here. Let's take a look.
With central bank stimulus weakening the dollar and gold being only about $100 short of its all-time high, the question has started to arise, can gold replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency? The dollar has enjoyed this status for decades, but since it detached itself from the gold standard in 1971, it's essentially consistently weakened on a macro level. Confidence in the U.S. government and the political system in the U.S. is one of the keys, and gold doesn't have that issue of a loss of confidence. But what it does have is a problem with transportability. That's why it's more likely that a currency backed in gold, or even a digital asset backed in physical gold, could potentially replace the dollar much more easily than the actual physical bar of gold could.
All right, so take what you want out of that as well. But the main point there is that this literally came out by the CME group, who Miguel Valles used to work at, who later worked at Ripple. And when he was at CME group, he was like, what? I think VP or head of precious metals, something like that. He worked with gold. And then he went to Ripple. What did he do there? Who knows? But neither argument is unjust, okay? Saying, hey, this guy's kind of out in left field, okay, yeah, I get it. But at the same time, not really, because you got the CME group and a post by Bloomberg talking about how we could have a cryptocurrency backed by gold in the near future. Why they post that video? Just for fun? Or maybe that they're trying to feed people this idea, this narrative that this is probably going to happen. Anyway, big take there. There's a lot of debate and stuff going on in the XRP community about all this. I think that XRP and crypto is good without gold. Personally, I think that they can be that underlying asset. Just obviously Bitcoin is really slow and expensive. So we'll see who wins the battle. That's where all the tribalism comes from, because people want to make money and they don't want to be wrong. But ultimately, there could be multiple winners. Who knows? XRP and Bitcoin could be part of that new basket of assets that are the backing for the new fiat currencies. But that's it. Hope that was informative. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one.
What is a cashless society? What does it actually mean in a literal or high-level sense?
Money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these.
Then Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Ben, good morning.
Mobile payment transactions in China reached a cumulative total of 277.4 trillion RMB in 2018, ranking #1 in the world, according to the recently released statistical report on internet development in China. As of June 2019, online payment users in the country reached 633 million. The cashless society is now approaching.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
Denver 7's Ryan Luby explains the digital pay revolution and why not everyone is on board.
The cashless society, the cashless society.
The Cashless Society.
The Cashless Society is now approaching.
The Cashless Society.